I'm Mark Beatty from North Shore, and I think I'm one of the guys that was mentioned from the real estate person who does more than just look at the houses, because I looked at so many houses, and we moved back this past year from Oregon, and there were so many standalone houses that looked really nice, and some that I even liked better than what I ended up with in Martin's Landing. But I like my house here, and given the whole package, it was mostly the lake, the walking trails, but it was also the river club. This community had the whole package for me, even though the structure itself, I saw some others that looked a little newer, or this or that. So I also, like John, would not have been here without the full amenity package of Martin's Landing, and I do think that would have affected then resale values when you add those of us together who are looking, and for amenities. Um, when I look at the options, particularly option C, I'm actually kind of excited about that, looking at the overall cost, because I was looking at it not just as a lump sum. I think it was 1.6 total compared to the 1 million, but you're getting double the square footage and a little more than that of usable square footage for a good bit less than twice the cost. So it looks like, to me, to be the most economical per square foot cost. But I'm wondering, when I sold my house, I did little things to spend money to try to help sell quicker. And I'm not a real estate person, but we were lucky to sell our house in an awful market in about 2 weeks. And I'm looking at this as a feature that is a unique feature, because we looked at other places too and other amenities, and I didn't find anything else with something right on the river except Horseshoe Bend we looked, but then they didn't have the exact river access, and there were other places too. But just to have everything together, it was Martin's Landing. And so I want to ask about this, not just in terms of amenities and not just in terms of cost too, because it will be an upfront cost, but I see it really as an investment. So it will only be guessing though. We can't guarantee it, but I wanted where's our real estate person? And if there's anybody else who's a real estate person too who has experience, what's your best guess? Because we can't guarantee it, but if we were to do this versus not have a club, because we're looking at price up front, is your sense that our combined property values will be higher than the cost to do it? So is it really going to fully pay for itself and some when we look to sell our house? And because I heard substantial as being a difference in property values. That's the first question. Are we really having this upfront terrible price to pay, and should we just hunker down? Or is this really going to be an investment that hopefully will even more than pay for itself? Then the other thing, we have three different options. Just from an investment perspective, what do you or anybody else see as being the best investment for the overall community? Which are those options? Thanks.
Thank you.
Um, Back again as to value and the push for it. Let's put it this way. When you put your house in the market and you have not remodeled your home and you're just selling it as is, that house is just going to sit. It's just going to sit. When you are in a community that offers a lifestyle and a clubhouse and the pools and the trails and all that kind of a lifestyle, it is going to say, okay, I'd rather live in this community more than I'd rather live in that community. That is one of the, you know, reasons or the weighing points of why a young family that we heard, we're seeing a lot of families that are in their mid-30s with the young children, and that's why they're moving into here. Our location is fantastic. So when you say, what is my value? If we put $1 million clubhouse on there and we get the usage, will I see 10%? Will I see 20%? A lot of that also depends on how many of you folks remodel your house. And I hate to tie it together, but it is tied together. So when we really see this community as people that are moving in are going to improve their house and they're going to move their style, but they also are going to move in here because they have a lifestyle for their young families as well. So as that all improves, the clubhouse becomes more valuable as an asset.
And just to follow up on the word investment, in my mind, this is not so much an investment as it is a reinvestment into an amenity we already have. So the question is, how much more do we invest in the River Club? Next question, please.
I'm Janelle Snow. We live in North Shore, and I've been in real estate for a little over 20 years. My question is, why haven't we considered charging an initiation fee? Most of these communities with these lovely amenities, they have an initiation fee when someone purchases a home, and an extra access type fee for some of the nicer pools. So that should be considered, because we're kind of behind on that.
In order to have an initiation fee, we would have had to have changed the covenants. As you know, we went through that process a couple of years ago. The initiation fee was brought up, and it was rejected by the board.
I'm Mary Lindner, and I live in Parkside. And just a statement rather than a question. I'm a grandmother of 9 grandchildren. One of the reasons I bought in here was all of the amenities. And when the River Club became part of Martin's Landing, just made it even that much better for me and the usage of my family, my grandchildren, my children. It's a matter of something I think that we have to do, and I think we have an advantage in Martin's Landing because we are almost considered close in now. When you're coming up 400, everything else back there, further north, is more expensive and doesn't have the nice area and living in Roswell, which is what I like. And thank you to everyone for all your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. After everyone's finished with their survey, unless we have any more questions, we'll be collecting the surveys at the door as you leave. And if you have any questions about anything on the survey, this is the time to ask.
I was just going to say there's one survey per household. So we're going to let the husband and or spouse who was not here know what you said. So there you go. So they're not going to be left out. By the way, thank you all for coming. We do appreciate it. And
one last question, please.
Also, aside from the surveys here, there will be one on the website. So if you miss it or you want to tell your neighbor about it, it'll be there. Or if you need to go by the office and get one from Christy. But we do want to know what you think. Thanks again.
But basically,
If we could keep it down just a little bit, we're going to take a few more questions. We're going to take a few more questions as everyone wraps up their surveys. So we have approximately 10, 15 more minutes before we have to start packing up. So yes, sir.
the last question that I have
Yes.
is it really doesn't matter what we put on this survey. It's going to be what the board of directors determines to be the best option for the community. So this is really fairly meaningless. It gives them guidance, but it doesn't bind them to anything. Is that correct?
The directors are going to base their decision on all the criteria that has been generated in this committee. Please, everyone, quiet, please. The board of directors are basing their final decision on what this committee has put together in this big project binder over here, all the work that we've done up to the DRB approval. They will also base their decision, and we are hoping they're going to base their decision. I understand their job to do that, on all the feedback from you and everyone else in this room going all the way back to December, and that includes the survey. But this committee cannot make the board of directors do that.
Nor can the survey.
Well, it is up to the board of directors. It's up to you to talk to your director or directors and make sure that they are representing you.
But again, nobody can make the board of directors do anything unless they want to do it, no matter what the surveys say.
Any more questions? Next question. Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
I'd like to recommend.
Shh. Quiet, please.
You're saying that we need to talk with our directors, but basically, I'd like to see these surveys tabulated by association, and I'd like to make sure that my director sees the tabulation as well as my individual surveys. I think you're asking a lot for all of us to call when we're writing down here, and I haven't heard that that's whether you're going to put all the associations together and look at it, then there's some data that's missing from the directors.
You'll notice there's a place on there for you to list your
Yeah.
association. Please do that. Anonymous votes don't do anybody any good. You can write whatever you want. We're not going to take it personally. We need to know what association you're from, so we will tabulate it by association.
And
We'll-
will, like I'm from 6 branches, will the 6 branches directors get the surveys
yes.
as well as the tabulation? So
We will break
that
it
way
down.
they'll have the gestalt of what the people in their areas
Yes,
feel.
they will.
I think that will be
If
important.
you put your association down, your director will get it. If you don't put your association down, then you just fall into a pool of, I don't know where that is.
The survey will be tabulated by 2 members of the Planning and Design Committee, and that information will be given to all the directors. So they will have that information before they make their decision at this mid-September meeting. That's why all the surveys have to be in by September 1st. Yes, question.
I don't have a question. What I've got is a statement. As secretary of the Martin Landing Foundation
Quiet,
Board,
please.
I can guarantee you that any vote taken by the board on sensitive matters are always roll call votes, and it's by rep, by association, so you can see how your representative voted. And if you don't like the way they voted, vote them out.
Thank you, Howard. Any more questions? We have a little more time. I assume people are still filling out the survey. Yes.
Hey,
One more question. One more
Kathy.
question. Quiet, please.
so I'm Kathy from Parkside. This question's for Gay. The real nice neighborhoods, just wondering how much their yearly HOA dues are.
Well, can you say that again?
The real nice neighborhoods that she showed with the real nice clubhouses, just wondering what their yearly HOA dues are.
Gay, do you have that information? Is Gay Maloney still here? $1,000 per year from which neighborhood? Woodmont? Right. Okay.
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 Okay, if you could just maybe publish that on the website or something to where we could do some comparisons. You know, I understand it's a good point, consider
But,
the lifestyle, but we got to be willing to. Oh, there-
Right.
I,
One more comment, please.
All right, I
If you
think
could
someone
please be
asked
quiet.
about
One more comment.
the dues. The average dues in all these communities, and obviously it depends on how many are in the community. I mean, we have over 1,900 homes, so that's quite a bit. But the average dues are running anywhere from 500 to 800. So, not blow your brains out kind of fees.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.